Sean, thank you so much for meeting with us today. Could you give us a little bit of the history of Franchise Direct, how you started the company and how you decided to move to Atlanta, have an office here in Atlanta?
Well, I started the company in 1998 when the internet was just at an early stage, and we initially started the site because I was working as a franchise consultant and had some knowledge of the industry, and I thought that it would be good to put material on franchising up on the web. And it evolved from there. In 2001, then we had the dot-com crash, and for a lot of companies it held back, and we went on from there. We got through that. And actually we began to grow into 2002, 2003. And then because of our US company customer base, we decided to open an office in the US. Now we looked at 3 locations. We looked at Boston, we looked at New York, and I selected Atlanta. Well, number one, there's a direct flight from Dublin to Atlanta, and that does make it easy when you're traveling over and back. And also the cost. I found that the cost of both office space and living space here in Atlanta was very competitive. And from that point of view, it really was the outright winner in terms of location.
And can you talk a little bit about what your website provides for people who are interested in buying a franchise?
Well, we would provide for the franchisor. We work primarily for franchisors. We provide what we call a lead referral service. The person who comes onto our site, the visitor, it's a free access site, and what they tend to do is they will look for a franchise under a few criteria. Is it available in Georgia? Maybe one that they're going to look at, and then how much is it? What's the cost of it? And in relation to that, they would, if they don't have significant funds, and we have found this in the last few years that a lot of people go towards the lower cost franchise. They also combine that with the category or the area that they're interested in. If they're interested by retail, well then it may be that they're interested by a coffee shop or something like that, or other people want what we call a white collar business franchise in recruitment or something of that nature. So it'll depend on what the person's own background is, and that'll help them to choose, combined with the amount of money and then finally their location.
So they would fill out a survey and then you would reply to them, here are the list of options?
What they tend to do is they tend to complete an application form online, and they'll fill in some details in terms of their background, the amount of money that they have, the location, the particular franchise they're interested to buy. And it's as simple as that. That's what they do, and it is really the early stage. What we do then is a number of those are sent on to the franchisor. The franchisor will contact them, send them out additional information, and basically we have helped to bring the two together.
And at this point, it's free to the potential franchisee. They're not charged for doing the survey.
No.
Okay.
I mean, from a person the person that would come onto our site is somebody that can be thinking of changing job or have been made redundant. And in fact, we've got a lot of people that have, they've got a settlement. They've worked for a larger company for a number of years. They've got tired of it. They don't want to be made redundant again. So they've decided, well, I'm going to do my own thing. I've always wanted to. And often that's the kind of person that's going to come onto the site. They're going to do some research on it. They can do it at night. They can do it at home, and they can send this off, and it's in a way it's done in privacy. If they were thinking, if they felt their job was insecure or something like that, and that's the kind of person.
And you were saying that some of the companies now do offer financing and other options if you don't necessarily have $600,000 or whatever it would take.
Yeah, we've noticed this very much over the last 2 years because of the difficulty of accessing finance, and it is one of the big issues that in starting any business at the moment is just accessing it. One of the things is that some of the franchisors qualify for SBA loans. And that's an important thing for the franchisor. The franchisor itself gets they get funding or get support. And the other is that the franchisor may make money available or have an arrangement with another financial institution that they can actually help the person get funding.
And what kind of time frame are we talking about? And from the time you fill out the application to the time you actually are in your own business running it, does it Is there normally a training period
Yeah.
involved?
Well, in relation to the first thing that will tend to happen is you'll get additional information from the franchisor. They may have what we call a discovery day or a meeting at which you can go along to their premises and you can see the business, and that obviously is going to be an important thing at which they can assess you. And it may be that you go along with your spouse if it's a husband and wife team that are going to do this together. And then following that, the next step would be for the person, if they're really interested by that franchise, is to go out and meet some of the franchisees and talk with them and see their experience. And that often, even though the person may have made up their mind, that may either confirm it or they may decide, given those experiences, I don't want to do that. That can be done pretty quickly. Now, the next step then is going to be that the person will tend to take on a franchise lawyer to take a look at the franchise agreement, review that, and a CPA in terms of getting their business plan worked up. What can often delay it is location, getting the real estate, getting the right location, and that can delay it.
Who decides with the location? The company?
That will be done in conjunction with the franchisor. The franchisee will go out and will look, but in some cases there will be a set of criteria that the franchisor would have in relation to location. And so the person will be looking within those criteria.